All right, Shalom. Shalom, Yashala, Shalom, Yashala, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Rakak, Radash, Karlo Imla, Alahayanawa, Abanawa, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Rakak, Radash. Double honor to the elect elders of Israel that rule well. Strong salutation to the brothers out there that labor in sound doctrine and in sincerity. Yahweh Shema Shah, Brakatam Sofelet. And peace, blessings, and salutations to the house of David, the elect. And this is a video. I ain't gonna say it's necessarily be a response video. I'm gonna just it's not a response video. It's not a commentating video. It's just a video. Because this video right here that I'm about to do a video, not on this video, but what's necessarily said in this video. And it's a key point. It was a thing that said, which go back to the scriptures. And we're going to go and just to get to the point, right? Sirach 11. Okay, Sirach 11. So I'm going to start off with Ecclesiasticus, which is Sirach, chapter 11, verse 4, right? Verse 4. And it reads, it says, boast not of thy clothing and raiment, and exalt not thyself in a day of honor. For the works of the Lord are wonderful, and his works are among men, Salakia, and his works among men are hidden. Verse 5, many kings have sat down upon the ground, and one that was never thought of have worn the crown. Verse 6, many mighty men have been greatly disgraced, and the honorable delivered into other men's hands. Verse 7, blame not before thou hast examined the truth. Understand first, and then rebuke. Ask not before thou hast heard the cause, neither interrupt men in the midst of their talk. Strive not in a matter that concerneth thee not, and sit not in judgment with sinners. My son, meddle not with many matters, for if thou meddle much, thou shalt not be innocent, and if thou follow after, thou shalt not obtain. Salakia. And if thou follow, it says, and if thou follow after, thou shalt not obtain, right? Neither shalt thou escape by fleeing. Okay, and that's the point. The title of the video is this video right here. You see, it's a priest about HOI priest about El Ariah that did not pass away. Okay, and what he said in his video was valid. He had valid points. Okay, and the reason why I said this is because a lot of people, the day of news coming out, or the day after of news coming out that Elder Ariah was passed on, that he was dead, a lot of guys was getting their rocks off. I can name out 4 guys in particular who I heard firsthand them do videos on, and that's Gorilla Hebrew, Kamikal, Nahariah Howardai, and Dayaf Bakar. These 4 guys I know for sure did videos on El Ariah, slandering him, calling him a false prophet, said he blasphemed the Holy Spirit, that the Most High killed them. The Most High killed them to send out a message that the Most High bring a judgment on all one of his elders. He's a false prophet. The Most High ain't dealing with him. This man is off. All right, so on and so forth. The whole 9, if you will. All right, and the news coming out now, a week later of that whole thing going on, a week later, your boy Vocab, for some reason he gets first dibs on the news. I believe that to be the prophet Balaam in the spirit coming back in the reincarnation of Vocab Malone. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But he spoke to a guy on his podcast who happened to be either a relative of El Ariah or somebody that's close to one of his relatives. So maybe he was a nephew or somebody. All right, but pretty much news came out that the man is still alive. He said he spoke to him on the phone, right? He spoke to him on the phone. He called his wife. Spoke to him on the phone. He said it's all a lie. You know, and I can picture the passion in his voice. He said it's a lie. It's a lie. I'm still alive. You know, the man's still alive. You see. So now, okay, I was talking about some IUIC did something similar, which Bishop Nathaniel had put up a video pretty much doing a tribute. But once news came out, that video got taken down. And then what it was, IUIC was doing a Friday Night Raw with ASAP, and then it was said did the elder of one West elder pass? Did he really pass? So it seems to be that Elder REI is still alive, and a lot of guys, and it just wasn't them four guys. It was a lot of people out there that was bad mouthing, slandering him, and talking down on Elder REI as soon as he passed away. Now it come to find out the man is still alive, right? So all you guys, right? A lot of guys are gonna have to answer. Let me get this in Matthew. A lot of guys are gonna have to answer, man. You know, this is Matthew 12 and 36. Matthew 12 and 36. But I say unto you that every idle word that man shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. For by thy words, right? And a lot of you guys, you didn't hear the whole matter first. Don't the scripture say hear the whole matter? Right? Let me see, because we got Sirach. I believe it's another one. Gotta be swift to hear. That might just be Sirach. Let me see, be swift to hear. All right, this is James 1:19 says, well, for my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear and slow to speak. All right, so a lot of you guys, you was slow to hear, and you was swift to speak. You was the complete opposite of the scriptures, man. Like, you guys was making videos the day of, the day after, 2 days after. Like, you didn't even what you thought was a credible source. See you speaking, and you got to be very careful speaking on the dead. You know what I'm saying? When that whole with the death and the passing, because like, what the scripture say? That's in Ecclesiastes. You got to be very careful, man, when it comes to like the dead and stuff. Like, let's say, rejoice not. Let me see. Rejoice not. Enemy. Okay, that's in Sirach, but I believe it's one is in Ecclesiastes as well. All right. Start at verse 6. Sirach 8:6. Dishonor not a man in his old age, for even some of us wax old. Verse 7. Rejoice not over thy greatest enemy being dead, but remember that we die all. Now, that's one, but it's a better one in Ecclesiastes, man. It's a better one. All right, Salakia. It's a better one, man. I believe it's one of the last chapters. Let me see. can't find it. I can't find it. It's been a while. Well, see, see death. Maybe it may be death. Could be death. Could be dead. Right? Slack it. Bear with me. Just trying to find it. You know, you read so much scriptures and try to retain so much. You be thinking the scripture is in this when it really is in that chapter. You know. See, dead. D-A-E-D. I know it's in Ecclesiastes. Maybe fall. I don't know. Could be fall. If this ain't one, we're just gonna move on. Could have sworn it was in Ecclesiastes. All right, we're moving on, man. All right, we're moving on. You know, if a brother can find that scripture that I'm talking about in Ecclesiastes, be my guest. But we're moving on, man. I'm going to Proverbs 24. All right. Going to Proverbs 24. See, all right, this is Proverbs 18:21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. So, a lot of you guys that spoke out of turn, man, hey, that's on you, man. That's on you. You gonna eat of it, right? You gonna eat of that, you know, because the Most High hate all. Let me get this. What is the Most High hate? Proverbs 6 and 19. I'm starting at verse 16. Proverbs 6 and 16. These things do of Yahweh hate, yea, 7 are abomination unto him. A proud look, a lying tongue. All you guys that said y'all slandering him, saying he was dead and this, you know, saying he did this, you know, saying that the Most High killed him because he did this and this and this. Yeah, he died on this day because that's a lying tongue, right? And hands that shed in the blood, a heart that advises wicked imaginations, feet that be swift running the mischief. You guys were swift, right? Again, you were supposed to be swifted here. And so you guys were opposite that. You guys were swift to the running of mischief. Verse 19, a false witness that speaketh lies. Right? You guys were false witnesses and you were speaking lies. And he that sowed discord among brethren. So the Most High hates you guys, man. All right? Scripture said the Most High hates sinners. Now all you guys need to come out and repent. Just like you rebuked them, you made videos in front of the congregation. You need to come out in front of the congregation and say you were off. All right? Anyway, Let's play it.
I spoke to 2 credible people also that said they were not sure. They said, I'm not saying the man is dead until I'm sure. So now, the point being, now, of course, a lot of y'all might have thought from credible sources this man was dead. But some of you were so eager to get out there and rebuke these brothers.
Right? And that's the point. That's the point. Right? You got to be what? Swift to hear and slow to speak. You got to watch what you say. The scripture say, keep. All right, Ecclesiastes 5:1. Keep thy foot when thou goest to the house of God, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools. A lot of you guys gave the sacrifice of fools, man. Right? And in particular, these 4 guys, name out Gorilla Hebrew, Kam Yakal, Nahariah, Hawada, and the Abakar. You guys gave sacrifice of fools, man. For they consider not that they do evil. Right? You guys, literally, you did evil. Verse 2, be not rash with thy mouth, and let not thy heart be hasty to utter anything before the Most High. For the Most High Yahweh is in heaven, and thou upon earth. Therefore, let thy words be few. You know, hey, man, Most High ain't playing with Jake. Jake thinks shit is a game. Most High ain't playing with you niggas, man. Most High ain't playing with you niggas, man.
That are off. Right? You jumped out there. You jumped out there head first. And you know,
right, you jumped out there head first, man. You see? Hey, man. That's why scripture say, Sirach 11, man. Sirach 11 and 7. Blame not before thou examine the truth. You guys didn't examine the truth, man. You was blaming the man. You know? You was blaming the man. And ultimately, me, I'm gonna take my what it is, the memorial for Elder, because in the spirit I was thinking maybe he not dead, or I can't, you know. I'm like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? But all this the Most High had this happen for a reason. This is supposed to be set up as a stumbling block. So me, I'm gonna take my video down, and when I set my memorial to Elder, I'm gonna leave the one where it said Elder is alive and all slanders will die. I'm leaving that up. I'm taking the memorial for Elder. I'm taking that down. You know, and I'm gonna take when I post my IG post, I'm gonna take that down. I'm gonna leave all the stuff that said, oh, he's alive. All that's going up, you know, and me, you know, I'm taking that, you know, I'm gonna take all the stuff saying, oh, I'm taking that down. Memorial, all that, I'm taking tribute, I'm taking all that down. All right, even myself, because I was, you know, the scripture say, fall not the multitude do evil. Although I wasn't slandering the man and speaking down on him, I'm not gonna, you saw different men. You saw, you know, I watched every day. I saw everybody like saying, okay, he died, pass. And ultimately, through the influence of, you know, the peer, basically call it peer pressure, which, you know, you can't give into that, man. You really gotta get the whole matter. So me, I'm taking all my shit down, and anything that says Elder is alive, I'm leaving it up. You know, because the Most High revealed to the Spirit to me, you know, not too long ago who this man was, and it just makes sense for him to still be alive. And then when the news came out that he passed, that didn't sit right with me. Like, what? That don't make sense. Okay, I was, oh, well, I guess he did pass, you know. But then come out, well, he's alive. So okay, well, the Most High did all this for this reason. You know, it makes sense, man. You know, so I'm going to read this again. Sirach 11:7. Blame not before thou hast examined the truth. Understand first, and then rebuke. Answer not before thou hast heard the cause, neither interrupt men in the midst of their talk. Right. So, you know, you guys didn't hear the whole, you didn't get the whole truth, man. Right? Scripture say, judge not according to appearance, but judge righteous judgment.
What happens when you jump out head first? You jumped off a 20-story building head first. Because now it's coming in that the man is alive. So your hour, 2, 3, 4, 5 hour videos about Elder Ariah, right, going in. Oh, let me pull it back. Let me pull it back. It's null and void now. If, I'm just saying if, because it's just confusion out here. And hey, if the man is alive, he's alive. If the Most High took him to the spirit world, he took him to the spirit world. I'm just going by reports. The latest report is that he's alive. That's why I didn't do any video. Y'all know I came out of One West. Right? Right? It's sad because brothers have done unity camps. Why act like you don't know who said what with no name? Come on. Who's this? What are you talking about, brother Elijah, Isaiah? What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Be specific. All right? And if you're talking about me, brother, don't tell me how to do my live, brother. I'll do my live the way I do my live. Because what you think this video is about, that's not really what it's about. See, y'all like the negativity and the damn sensationalism so much, y'all miss the main damn point, Israel. Y'all always gravitate.
And I'm part of it. And the point that's being made, the point that he's making right now, I'm doing the video. That's the topic of this video. All right? That's the topic of this video. Sirach 11:7. Blame not before thou examine the truth. Understand first and then rebuke. Let us hit a whole matter, man. When you come into the house of the Most High, keep the foot. Keep. I'm gonna go back to Ecclesiastes 5, man. That's the whole point, man. You see, y'all missing the point. Ecclesiastes 5:1. Keep thy foot when thou goest to the house of God, and be more ready to hear than to get a sacrifice of fools, man. And Priest Zabach basically saying, all you niggas out there, all right, I'm going to say starting with Gorilla Hebrew, Kami Call, Nehariah Hawadah, and the Apple Car, and all you other niggas out there, et cetera, who was bad mouth for Elder Ariah on his past and his sin, the Most High killed him, that's a judgment, all that, yada. You niggas gave a sacrifice of fools, man. In Galatians 6-7, don't be deceived, man. The Most High ain't mock. And Matthew 12, you niggas gonna have to answer, man. Every idle word, okay? Every idle word.
Into the damn negative, and the hype, and the sensationalism, and the beef, and you miss the main damn point. So don't tell me how to do my live, brother. If I need to say names, I can say names, because there's a lot of madness I've seen out there, just like I went live this week.
It's a lot of people and I can only name 4 because I heard these men myself. You know, Gorilla Hebrew said he said F. Ariah. He said it's more hope for Dwayne Wade's son, right? That transformer than for Elder Ariah. And this is the man, you know, that the Most High, this is literally who I believe Samuel in the regeneration, man. I believe, you know, he came as Samuel, you know, he came as then he came back as Elisha. All right, then he came back as Simeon. You know, he came back as that man blessing Mary and Yahushua. That's who I believe he came back as, and you know, maybe he may be Joshua. Maybe he came, you know, I think he came as Samuel, came as Elisha. Then he came back as probably Joshua the high priest. Then he came back as Simeon. Then he came back as Elder Ariah, the son of high priest. This is who I believe. You know, I believe this is Samuel in the regeneration, man. You know, it just makes sense. You know, his whole lot. You know, him being Elder High Priest Jaquab's son, and him literally coming up under Elder Bivens. It just makes sense to me. You know, and I believe Elder Bivens is that man during the time of, you know, Samuel. I believe Elder Bivens is that man of God who prophesied to Eli and tell him what he was going off on, and pretty much prophesied his judgment. You know, and King Solomon fulfilled that word, which ultimately, you know, Yahushua. But I believe that man of God was, you know, Elder Bivens, you know, was that man of God that spoke to Eli. Then he came back as Elijah, right? Then he came back as John the Baptist. Then he came back as Elder Bivens, man. This is who I believe. You know what I'm saying? And this, I'm not making this a doctrine. This ain't some. Okay, this word is something I just believe in. Faith. Because Yahweh Shah asked 12 disciples, who do some say that I am? And like, some said that he one of the prophets, Jeremiah or Isaiah. They said he one of the prophets. And Apostle Peter said, thou art the Mashiach, which is meaning the anointed. And Yahweh Shah said, if you can receive this, John the Baptist is Elijah, which was before to come. All right, so there is a thing called reincarnation, regeneration in the scriptures, and it's no different today. The spirit of the prophets are subject unto the prophets, and these men that you read about in the scriptures are back here today, man. And yeah, and so let's say what I'm saying is true. Maybe I got it right. Like the Apostle Peter got it right when he hit it on the head with Yahweh Shah. Because the Apostle Peter was the only one that, nobody could else get it but the Apostle Peter. Right? And Yahweh Shah said, blessed art thou, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood not revealed unto thee, but my Father was in heaven. So let's say, like Peter got it right about Yahweh Shah. Let's say I got it right about, let's say I got it right about these men, right? So let's say, if I got it right, that means Elder Ariah, all right, is a man of the Lord. He's a man of God, a man of the Lord, a prophet, and one of the elect. And so, all you guys that badmouth him, that slandered him, right? All you guys that badmouth him and slandered him, all right, you guys, you guys in trouble, man. Imagine, like, just imagine, like, trying to, you cursing out the prophet Samuel, and he ain't did nothing wrong. Really, he didn't, or you just bad. Or with David, what's the name, the Benjamite that cursed David. Now, David went off and searched stuff, but who was that person to curse out David and say he was going to die and do all that? And it was Shemaiah. Yeah, Shemaiah. Who was he? Right? And ultimately, Shemaiah got his judgment when King Solomon, was following the orders of David. He pretty much fulfilled everything. He cleaned up. King David and King Solomon cleaned up the mess that Eli and King Saul had made. All right, and King David is here today, which is the Apostle Peter. He got to be here, and King Solomon is Yahweh Shah, which he's on the way. Which the mess that was made, because there was a mess made in the 90s, it's gonna get cleaned up. All right, Eli was here, King Saul was here. All right, I believe you got Samuel still turning. All right, Simeon, who he's still here, gonna see the anointed, which he's back in his life, just like he gonna see the anointed, just like he saw the anointed in the Gospels. He saw the Lord's anointed, and he said, Lord, I see thy anointed, let thy servant depart in peace. I believe Elder Ariah is in there a lot today to see the real King David get raised up, the anointed, with the tabernacle of David, with the power, the transition from one to west to the tabernacle, because it's all about the tabernacle of David, which is the kingdom of heaven, which is the kingdom of Israel, which the apostles acting Yahweh Shah about, which starts off with the power, you see, and which that's Yahweh Shah's Salaki, which Yahweh Shah spoke to Apostle Peter about, upon this rock will I build my church, and I will give thee the keys of the kingdom of heaven. And we understand that. Well, I understand that King Mashiach cannot be King David because he did not fulfill that. All right, if he was King David, he'll be still here with us today by being raised up with the power, because the spiritual power, you got men talking about spiritual power, but spiritual power starts with Peter. It starts with the rock. It starts because Peter, he got the keys, right? Saying that the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. That's the tabernacle of David starts with the apostle Peter. That's the church. That's the kingdom. That's the kingdom of heaven. All right, Yahweh Shah said, my kingdom is not of this world, my kingdom is of this world, then my servants will fight. So the kingdom is so King David, the tabernacle, Apostle Peter, the head apostle, right? That's who's gonna start with. And nobody's really talking about these things, and I understand now, the whole purpose of who is King David and the whole tabernacle. I understand that the Apostle Peter, with Yahweh Shah, pretty much the things that Yahweh Shah was saying to the Apostle Peter, he was prophesying the spirit of the things to come in the end times, which is now. And so King David would be among us. He'd be alive, ready to fulfill prophecy. The Most High is about to use him to fulfill prophecy and the rest of the 12 apostles. The scripture say the apostles. But that's not to get off topic. So, but it all goes hand in hand. So Samuel or Ariel or Simeon, the Most High still got, because you got to think about it. He's the last pillar still alive. Elder Bivens passed. Then Elder Yaquad passed. Then Elder Mashah passed. And then, Zabach, which he claimed he was the Holy Spirit, the Comforter. He passed. Right? Elder Ariel, you got Elder Ariel, but you got Shar and some of those other guys. I don't know if they even still around. Who knows? But Elder Ariel, who was literally the most prolific. Now the school was passed to Mashah. Bivens passed the school to Mashah. Elder Bivens passed the school to Elder Mashah. It was Elder Mashah's school. Elder Mashah was the head of the king. Right? That was his school. It was literally his school. But who the Most High used really as an instrument, the most prolific person, the mouthpiece, the prophet, was in factly Elder Ariel. That's who the Most High gave the 12 tribe chart to, the Lashawan Kodash to, and literally the basic breakdowns and the deep prophetic breakdowns, which Daniel, Revelation. The Most High literally used Elder Ariel to set up the milk that we may grow by. The Apostle Peter speak about the desire, the system of the word that you may grow that by. This is who the Most High used set up. Like he's like the third pillar or the fourth pillar. All right, because you got Elder Bivens, there's Elder Bivens, then there's Elder Mashah, then there's Elder Yaquab, then there's Elder Ariel Salaki. Now, I believe Elder Bivens had to be in the time of Samuel and David. He had to be the man of God that spoke to Eli. It had to be Elijah. That had to be John the Baptist. That had to be him. All right, because ultimately what he said, that was fulfilled. If you read it, it was fulfilled when King Solomon, which is who? That's Yahweh Shai. It was fulfilled in King Solomon. When King Solomon set up, he put the priest Zadach, right? Priest Zadach instead of a Balthasar, and it tell you that it was fulfilled with the man of God spoke to Eli. So I believe Elder Bivens, John the Baptist, Elijah the prophet, that was the man of God, which it don't tell you his name. It just say the man of God when he's speaking to Eli. Now Elder Bivens had to be he had to be the man of God. Now Elder Mashah, Elder Yaquab, I'm gonna play around with it. I ain't gonna say who I believe, because I know who I believe who these elders are, but I'm not gonna say it. Somebody had to be King Saul, and somebody had to be Eli the priest. So I'm gonna let the people, let the congregation. I'm gonna let the people out there decide, and let them decide on who think, who is King Saul and who is Eli. And if you got the spirit, the eyesight to see and understand what we're down, you can see what I'm talking about. All right, so the man of God had to be Elder Bivens. And what I'm saying, it line up with, what I'm saying, it lines up with this video. That's why it's important. That's why brothers got to be slow. And a lot of guys, you don't know what the hell going on, but you saying this and this and this. And you don't even realize it's a reason why the Most High still got Elder Ariel still alive. It come out that, okay, he was dead, but now he's alive. So the Most High is doing something in the earth, right? The Most High is doing something in the earth. But anyway, I'm going to finish this. I'm going to finish what I'm about to say. Elder Bivens, he had to be the man of God that spoke to Eli. All right, you got then you got Elder Mashah, Elder Yaquab. All right, one man. I'm not gonna say who's who. I believe who. One man is Eli. One man I believe is Eli the priest, and the other one I believe is King Saul. All right, if you got the spirit to see what I'm saying, you will see what I'm saying. All right, and the other one, the fourth one, was that boy that came up under Eli. Samuel came up. He was that one that he was born into this thing, literally ministered before the Lord as a child. Who did that? Who was that? Who did that? It was Elder Ariel. Okay, that's who and I'm gonna say Samuel. So I believe the man of God is Elder Bivens, and the prophet Samuel was Elder Ariel. And ultimately they came back. The man of God came back as Elijah, And Samuel came back as Elisha. And if you really look at it, when you look at Sirach, as we said, let's praise famous men, Samuel and Elisha, they got the same, in a way, they got the same lot. Like Scripture say, the spirit of the prophet are subject unto the prophets. You know, it tell you how Samuel, he prophesied as his death. It tell you that after Elisha's death, his bones prophesied. That's like the same lot. So that tell me right there, Samuel had to be Elisha coming back, and Elisha had to be he could be, maybe I ain't gonna say had to be. Maybe he's because you got men like mostly GMS saying, and it started with Elder Mashah and pretty much the head apostles and elders pretty much keep pushing it. That Elder Ariah is in the message of the end. They say the message, this is going on because he's Joshua the high priest spoken by Zechariah the 3rd chapter. Most I got them 50 garments. So maybe, all right, he was Samuel, Elisha, Joshua the high priest, and he came back as Simeon. And like I said, Simeon was still alive for what reason? To see the anointing. Who's the anointed in this time? Well, the scriptures say that Yahweh Shah said, upon this rock will I build my church, and I'll give thee to key. So the anointed this time is the Apostle Peter, who is King David, because King David came back in the time of Yahweh Shah as who? As the Apostle Peter, which who the Most High is going to raise up in this time via spiritual power, via Tabernacle of David, via the Kingdom of Israel. You see? So, if you got the spirit to receive these things, you can see it, you can receive it. So Elder Bivens, the man of God. Elder Mashah, he was either King Saul or Eli. He had to be one of the two. Elder Yaquab, he was either King Saul or Eli. And it makes sense. And really, I'm gonna just say this. Fuck it. I ain't gonna push it for the round. This is what I believe, and it just makes sense. All right. Elder Bivens. Elder Bivens is the man of God. Elder Yaquab, he had to be Eli. Elder Mashah, he had to be King Saul. And Elder Ariah, he had to be the prophet Samuel, man. That's just how it was. That's just how it was. That's how it just makes sense. Now, a lot of guys, guys might hear this and they might not like it. All right, they may not like it. But it is what it is, man. Because you got a lot of guys think Elder Mashah is King David, which if he was, he would be here today to fulfill prophecy according to the scriptures, which the Most High is going to do. A lot of guys think that what Yahweh Shah said, upon this rock will I build my church. A lot of guys think that's happening now. No, that's not happening now. It's happening when King David, when the Most High raised up King David, Apostle Peter, with spiritual power in this time. Which really, that whole movie about what, the Matrix, Neo was David, if you can receive it. Now, with that all being said, if Elder Ariah is Samuel and the Most High is about to raise up David, what does that mean for all you guys out there? What does that mean for all you guys out there? Revelation 11:5. I'm gonna start at Revelation 11:3. And I will give power to my two witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,203 square days, cloth and sackcloth. These are the two olive trees and the two candlesticks standing before the power of the earth. And if any man will hurt them, fire proceedeth out of their mouth, and devoureth their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. Verse 6. These have power to shut heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over waters to turn them to blood, and to smite the earth with all plagues as often as they will. Right? As often as they will. Isaiah 54:17. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. Here's the point. In every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment, thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, Yahweh, and the righteousness of me, saith Yahweh. So, we got these four pillars, man. These four men. All right? And it just makes sense. I ain't going to sugarcoat it no more. I'm not going to push it around. Through the Spirit, which was shown to me, this is what I believe. I believe that the man of God is Elder Bivens. because we live in a time of 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, 1 Chronicles, 2 Chronicles. We're living in a time of 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, 1 Kings, 2 Kings, 1 Chronicles, 2 Chronicles. This is the time we're living in. And so the man of God, there had to be Elder Bivens. The man of God is Elder Bivens. All right. Eli the priest, that's Elder Yaquab. King Saul, that's Elder Mashah. And the prophet Samuel is Elder Ariah. And if you got the spirit to receive these things, you can receive it, man. You know, and through the spirit, you know, that's what was pretty much, that's what, you know, it makes sense because, you know, Elder Bivens, he started this thing off. It was like, he started the prophecy off. He started, you know, pretty much, you know, let me get it. 1 Samuel 2, and, you know, the man, right, I'm gonna see, right here, 1 Samuel 2:27, and there came a man of God unto Eli and said unto him, thus saith Yahweh, did I plainly appear into the house of thy father where they were in Egypt in Pharaoh's house? Right? So this is the man of God, right? I'm gonna jump down. 1 Samuel 2:34, and it shall be a silence to thee, thou shalt come upon thy two sons on Hophni and Phinehas, and one day they shall die, both of them, and I will raise me up a faithful priest that shall do according to that which is in my heart and my mind, and I will build him a sure house, and he shall walk before my anointing forever. Now this was fulfilled in what? Y'all follow me now. It may be a little hard to understand, but hey, it is what it is. Here we go. All right, this is 1 Kings 2:26, and unto Abiathar the priest said the king, get to Anathoth and to thy own fields, for thou art worthy of death. But I will not at this time put thee to death, because thou bearest the ark of the Lord Yahweh before my father, and because thou hast been afflicted in all wherein my father was afflicted. So Solomon thrust out Abiathar from being priest unto Yahweh, that he might, check this out, that he might fulfill the word of Yahweh, which he spake concerning the house of Eli and Shiloh. And who did he set up? Right? Let's see, jump down. Verse 35, and the king put Benaniah the son of Jehoiada in his room over the host, and Zadok the priest that the king put up in the room of Abiathar. Now, you have Elder Bivens' great-grandson. Now, Apostle R said this could be Bivens coming back. And he said, well, you know, I doubt it. Which I don't think that's Elder Bivens coming back. But you know, I believe that's somebody important coming back. And it just makes sense. Right now, he's a rabbi. And now if you follow the story of Elder Bivens, he started off as a rabbi, you know, with the commandment keepers, and he broke away from that. Now, Elder Bivens' great-grandson, I don't know his name, but he's my age. All right, he's somewhere around my age. And he's a rabbi right now. He's getting well learned and studied and Torah and Tanakh. And when I'm mistaken, I believe his family, his matriarchal side are Sephardic Jews. Now, maybe he's Zadok the priest that the man of God spoke to Eli about. And it just makes, if you, through the spirit, if you can receive this, you can receive it. Maybe he's Zadok the priest that's coming back in this time. Who knows? We don't know. I can see it. Through the spirit, I can see it. Now, the man of God that spoke to Eli, that was Elder Bivens, which was Elijah, which was John the Baptist, which was Bivens, right? Elder High Priest Yaquab, he had to be Eli. Because it makes sense, because when the prophet Samuel, when it was time for his mother to give him to the Lord, who did he come up under? Who did he learn up under? Eli. Now, who was Elder Ariah's father? Elder High Priest Yaquab. Right? Now, when you're dealing with regeneration, reincarnation, it's more spiritual than ever. So really, when you look at it, who was really Samuel's father? It was Eli. Because he literally was raised by Eli. Literally, his mama his mother weaned him from the breast and gave him to the Lord. He was literally, he tell you that he ministered to the Lord as a child. So he literally was in Shiloh up under Eli for literally until Eli passed. So when you really get into his His biological father was Elkanah, but his spiritual father was Eli. Now, there's no what is it? There is no account of Elder Bivens, which, Eli didn't come back as Elijah. Eli went off when he didn't rebuke certain stuff. Now, when you get into it in old school, like different from elders and stuff, they talk about how Elder Yaquar was like literally the father of the church. All right, he was the pillar. He set in the back. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but from hearing the testimonies, man, that these men that was there, and these men speak about, and these men got different stuff against one another, and they say this happened. So I say, so while this wickedness was going on, this, that, and the third, correct me if I'm wrong, but none of these men said, well, Elder Yaquab, he'll come in and rebuke and say, y'all doing this and this. Or with the whole King David thing with the oath. Yes, you had to swear under my shot he was King David, or if you was kicked out of school. Why didn't Elder Yaquab, correct me if I'm wrong, but I didn't hear none of the elders say, oh, Elder Yaquab, he stopped that. He was like, he wasn't going for none of that. He stopped that. You know what I'm saying? And when you look at it, after he passed, what was 1994, 1995, if I'm not mistaken, that's when the controversy really started to happen. And then what happened? And then a split happened after his passing. Was that by coincidence? So it'll make sense for it'll make sense for Elder Yaquab to be Eli coming back. It just makes sense. And Eli, and so who's King Saul? Because everybody's talking about David. Somebody got to be King Saul, right? So who's King Saul? And so who? Okay, and it just makes sense. Well, who? Because King Saul was King David before King David was, and that might go a lot of people's head. I'm gonna say this again. King Saul was King David before King David was King David. I'm gonna say this again. King Saul was King David before King David was King David. King Saul was on point. He was righteous at one point until he went off. Now, at my shot, he didn't rebuke them saying, well, I'm David. He didn't rebuke none of that. And he broke away from him, started his own thing with the house of David, right? So he broke away from Elder Ariah and started his, house of David. And then after his passing, which that whole had turmoil and stuff, and then he passed on, and then that had many splits. And so now we're living in the age of the mess that was created in the 90s. We're living, you see all this stuff, quote unquote, Israelite beef, the splits, divisions, this, and the third, and and splits. We're living in a mess that Eli and King Saul, because King Saul perpetuated it, but Eli, he had a chance to stop. He had, no. So we're living in a mess that was created in the 90s, from all these different stuff. Through I'm just saying, through poor leadership, ignorance, and ultimately not taking heed to the word, man. So now we're living in the mess of the day. Now you got so much BS going on, and who got to clean it up? The Apostle Peter, who is King David. King David is gonna have to clean it up. Samuel's gonna be here to see it at Ariah. It's like it's gonna be passing the torch. All right, and it's gonna go from one to west. Most High's getting the elect out of the one to west, and raising up the tabernacle of David. And King David, he gonna start the cleaning. Yahweh shot King Solomon, he gonna finish it. And it just makes sense, man. And and it just makes sense, man. So a lot of guys don't know what's going on, but a lot of stuff had to happen for ultimately for prophecy's sake. Different stuff was set up as a stumbling block. And if I say I'm going outside, okay, El Mashaya is King Saul, niggas gonna have a fit. All right, but guess what? All this stuff, I say El Ariah is the prophet. Niggas gonna have a fit, man. You see, but it makes sense, that Elder Mashah would be King Saul, because they were saying that's King. This is King David. This is King. It makes sense that he was, what I'm saying, because and then in 1999 he passed, and that was 1999. In the year 2000, prophecy, Yahweh didn't come back. So that was a false doctrine of Hosea 1:11. Okay, but that had to happen though. And it all makes sense. And now, guys will talk about the House of Saul, but really, we're in the time of the House of Saul. This is right. But the Most High about to raise up the House of David, the Tabernacle of David, and it all makes sense. You see, now Samuel, he didn't. I wouldn't say he didn't clean up the mess. He was literally just he pretty much told Saul this. Samuel was on the outside and telling him what it was. Samuel saw the mess before it was gonna happen, and Samuel was sorrowing and all these different stuff. But it is what it is, man. But the mess that we live in today, because you got all this, the Most High ain't with this division, man. And you got even who GMS said, well, that division got to be this and this. They'll tell you that, well, there's elect in these different camps. So, well, if there's elect in these different camps, why the fuck are we divided? I'm going to say this again. The Most High is not with this division. All right. Now, the Most High is with the elect, the righteous. The Most High is with the division when it comes to the sheep and the goats. But if you got the elect in all these different camps and y'all divided, the Most High ain't with that. So the Most High about to do something in the earth. And the Most High is going to raise up King David, the Apostle Peter, and the rest of the apostles, and the rest of the Tabernacle of David with the spiritual power. All right. And that's going to be, all right, them coming together and appoint themselves one head and they shall come out of the land. That's going to be from one West coming back together, going to the Tabernacle of David, the elect. You see? But if him being, what I'm saying is true, and him being Prophet Samuel, a lot of you niggas going to have to answer. And that means a lot of you guys probably not the elect. All right? But, I've been rambling, so I'm going to read this again, Isaiah 54 and 17. I'm going to read this again. And I got to go. Isaiah 54 and 17. No weapon formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment, thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of Yahweh, and their righteousness is of me, saith Yahweh. So with that, giving our praise to Yahweh, Bashim Ashah, Bashim Kakwadash. Yabashim Ashah, Bukit Tum Sofa and peace, blessings, salutations, the elect. DTA Dev to America, Baba soon come out, Shalom to Lake, Shalom.